Welcome back to the Talkback of Tanamai. Today, I am joined by the lovely, incredible, the architect of all the casts, General Payne, the world builder of Ramansara, and a very close personal friend, Ted Collins. Hello, Ted.
Lovely and incredible. And an architect of pain?
Well, I mean, you know, you can be, you're multifaceted.
I hope so. I do hope so. I try. I really try.
But yes, this is our second episode after the first arc, where we're going to be talking to the Dungeon Master himself. Good Lord.
I know, it's just scary.
You get easily
easily
scared.
Dungeons frighten me. I don't want to be the master of them.
No, you know what? That's understandable.
Dungeons are a little scary. I don't know why the game's all about them.
Yeah, considering... Wait, does the Undercroft count as a dungeon?
I'm counting both the Undercroft and Gahara as a dungeon, the prison that Mabel descends into with Aldenus Khan.
Oh, that just reminded me of something, which we're going to get into your influences.
Oh, no. Aldenus Khan, he's a big influence on my day-to-day life.
When I was less thinking about that, I was more thinking about prison. Being sent to prison and it being underground. Hit series Arcane.
Yeah, probably a little bit.
You know what? Honestly, anyway, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. So, let's start out with a chill question. How are you, Ted?
I'm doing good.
Yeah,
I'm doing well. I am getting to work on one of the great creative endeavors of my life, and that is an absolute delight. And I'm doing so with a bunch of people who are so incredibly talented that sometimes I don't have to do much work at all. Sometimes the notes I write for a session, for all of you listeners at home, are disturbingly small. Because I know that I can trust the people that I'm sat opposite, and that's...
We were discussing this the other day. We were just like, let's make a wiki, and I was just like, let's just compile all of Ted's notes, but you do not. To the extent of a wiki.
I was going to say, I have more notes than I think potentially, not to diss my fellow DMs out there, but also I know what it's like. I probably have a few more notes than I am kind of letting on, just because this is a show, and I try and keep things in line enough. But one of the great delights I always find with the show is going back and finding documents that I've titled Note Document, and I'll open it up and it will have like 3 lines inside of truths about the reality of Tanamai that when we actually did the show, we ended up with like alternate universe versions of. Originally, Urania Pfeiffer was called Valeria Pfeiffer, and Glass was a genie called Mirror. So
what the
and this was like an early notes document, and I was like, this is what I was planning for the show. So many things come about, and many things change over time.
If you had stuck with that, you would have had a really bad legal case on your hands and a less cool villain name.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, wait, no, actually, you have 2 copyright problems.
How so?
Game of Thrones and M. Night Shyamalan.
Game of Thrones?
Valeria.
Are you thinking of Valerian? Like High Valyria?
Yeah.
You know that Valeria is just a Ukrainian name, right?
Oh, sick.
It's just a real life name.
Okay, so start of this season, after the prologue. Great prologue.
Thank you very much.
The prologue in the prologue, you've got this lovely kind of winter wonderland environment. It's very earthy. It's very naturey. All I can think of is pine trees.
It's beautiful.
And suddenly, I was about to say a cold water. It's more like being dropped into a desert, or less desert, more just humid hell.
Yeah.
We go to Ramansara, which is so so jungle dense.
Yeah.
And kind of you describe it to one day be a desert. It shall become that one day.
Yeah, temporal mirage. Yeah.
And when you were going from the prologue setting and going into Ramansara, what was your process? Why did you pick that kind of environment for the start of the season?
That's a great question, because I did, for once in my life, I actually did think about this a lot. Wow. I'm gonna say some writerly bullshit here, and you're gonna think this guy's a pretentious asshole.
Ted, got a question.
Hello.
What's the podcast? What's the talking for? What's the interview for? If not to hear ourselves speak.
I was gonna say it's the lampshade, the pretension. In Provincial Nim, in this little village called Ember, we did this very kind of it was Christmassy. It was part of our plan. I'm not sure if you know this, but we released it around the time of Christmas. I was working on the prologue through Christmas anytime I could get away from interacting with my family, because we wanted to release it over that period so that it had that festive feel.
Yeah.
And there was a big thing for me in going, we have 4 episodes to tell the story of an entire childhood.
Yeah.
We have 4 episodes to show where all of the joy is stored in these characters. And by the end of that, either Aravin or Elitha Mortimer is going to be dead. And the way that, or at least not dead, frozen in the sky for all of eternity, strung up as a sort of Promethean message to mankind. But hello.
Elitha was a possible...
Yeah, Elitha was on the table.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I know, dark. But when the widow suggests that Ellie should be the one to go because Ellie has the wasting sickness, that is a real suggestion.
Yeah.
And it could have been influenced that way if things gone differently in the plot, if Aravin was not there to stop it. There was it was something we spoke about with Elias beforehand, where he was like, I want my childhood here to be freewheeling towards a great tragedy. I don't want to know what the tragedy is.
Yeah.
And because it's these distant memories, everything's in snow.
Yeah.
Everything's frozen, much like the mother. It's preserved.
Oh.
And when we move to Ramansara, it's constant rainfall.
Yeah.
The childhood has melted away. We've gone from freezing memories in time to making them, to living them, to seeing them hit the ground and rivets of earth, and for it to cause a vibrancy and a verdancy in the blooming of these characters' arcs. So I always knew when we were kind of moving to where this story would take place, I want to go from snow to rainfall.
Yeah.
And as soon as you start going, what's a place with a lot of rainfall? You quickly get transported to the magic of rainforests and also their kind of deep primeval horror.
Yeah.
Ramansara was a really compelling location to me that I wanted to put a lot of work into, because I really had this desire to show the different facets of Tanamai as a world. Provincial Nim is a beautiful anarchistic utopia. There is no government in Provincial Nim. There are no kings. There are just the communities that are trying to work amidst themselves. And yes, they have conflicts, but they sort them out. Provincial Nim is an entire nation of Shire. It is an entire location that has been shired. On the flip side, however, Ramansara, if we're looking at nations of this world as reflections of deities in the Trinity, Ramansara is really the place of creation. It is the place of the child. There is this verdant jungle. There is all of these machinations moving forward with the development of technology and magic and all of this. I wanted the Mortimers to be thrust into a place where they were forced to move. Because I think if we started in Nim or if we started in Ashling, it would have been a lot of like feeling stuck in one place or feeling stuck in your childhood trauma. And Ramansara is a beautiful and vibrant location. And it was also something that I think it motivated the characters to move.
Yeah.
Sibley was studying at the heart of the world of where all of this arcane stuff is happening, and Ramansara was inspired a lot by the Indus Valley civilization and the real kind of historical truth that some of the greatest and most advanced cities of the world have kind of been lost to time in these places of like ancient India and ancient Iran and ancient Iraq, and all of these things of like even just simple things like canals and sewage systems.
Yeah.
These guys had it figured out for fucking ever.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
because we're in this new world, like Tanamai, we're only kind of 500 years in. I love the idea of seeing a civilization kind of at its peak so early, and going, what does it look like when you've got magic to speed up progress?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, it's only been 15 years of all mortals having access to magic, but elves and sorcerers, they still had access to magic beforehand, these kind of immortal beings that had been chosen by the mother. So parts of the arcane world had already been moving forward, and I think Ramansara, as soon as it saw, oh shit, guys, I think we've got magic now, started kind of copying the homework of places like Tansin Gore up in the sky, and very quickly we're like, okay, how do we become a superpower? And I think that excited the likes of Mabel, who went, I need to be somewhere where there is movement happening. And I think it excited Sibley, because it was somewhere they could actually study magic and actually learn what this gift was that Aravin had kind of been able to bestow in his last moments. Yeah. As for Gwerxos, as always, a decision that was not self-motivated, a decision that was motivated by the Mortimers. He wanted to be where they were, as a silent protector. Yeah,
that's the thing with, we just talked to Billy about this last episode, but it's the thing of they had 15 years and they have automatons that are you're getting as close to Gwerxos, like that kind of that little world building thing of they're getting so close to what Gwerxos is. Yeah.
And by season 2, they're getting closer. they're getting a lot closer. And that's a bit of hot goss coming at you from down the line, from down the pipes.
You got a little taste.
I was gonna say we gotta market. Who else? Why else is anyone gonna listen?
Well, this is the purpose of all podcasts. It's marketing.
Yeah, the purpose of all podcasts is
not to understand each other. No, not a great window into the soul. It's so I can sell my
make
mental
money.
Health book. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I can start a pump and dump crypto.
Well, I mean,
which, guys, I would like to talk to you about.
I want to talk to you about Gwerxos coin.
About Bandleby coin.
Bandleby.
Bandleby, of the people in the world, Bandleby was most likely to start a crypto before he died.
Yes. I think.
Horus is a close second.
I was about to say Candelon.
Yeah.
They would just be like, they would be overtly just like, this is the future of currency. And it would just be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that is the danger of like when you've got magic to speed up the industrialization of a society, you do get to crypto faster.
Yeah.
So like it's wait for like Arc 9 when we've run out of ideas, but it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
The Industrial Revolution was all leading to cryptocurrencies, and then it's going to go right back downhill again, and we'll go right around.
Yeah.
Right.
So basically, I thought a lot about that jungle, and I worked really hard because I really struggle with world building. World building's so difficult, man. But I wanted to say what is a city that the characters need to move them forward, and that's how we ended up with Udamas, the city of diamonds.
Yeah, it is. You have a few bits in there which we're gonna talk about. Specifically, you're talking a lot about, Ember being more of a community-based focus. You've got big commune energy there.
Yeah, big time.
Some might call it even communist.
I would.
And then the woke-a-rat. What is this? Right. What I was going to say is, and then you go all the way up to Ramansara, and you have you've got capitalism, you've got industrial revolution, you've got all that vibe. So what I wanted to ask is, kind of throughout the season, you have a very, very strong focus on themes of political intrigue, the reasons why people do things for political reasons, and you have huge focus on theology.
Mm-hmm.
Both politics and theology in the way they intermix. I'm just wondering, kind of, what was your intent whilst making the series? What was your kind of things you wanted to reflect from real life kind of into this setting based in those themes of politics and theology?
No, and I mean, there are a lot of influences that went into the show. I want to start with some of the theological ones, because this was a big thing that I was thinking about, even prologue time, that has just gotten bigger and bigger as the show has gone on. I am influenced by so many theologies around the world. I myself am not a religious person, but I have a lot of fascination in the wisdom that so many of the belief systems around the world can offer, just the way we look at life and navigate life. And I think there's something quite beautiful and understandable that everyone in history went, the world is a cosmic nightmare. Every now and then these like fucking hellstorms come down from the sky. This has to be something, right? Like, no, this can't just be the way that the world, like, everyone is freaking out all the time. And pretty much unanimously across the world, most people settled on, well, it's not our fault.
What's a bearded guy? I don't know.
It's
but I do know him.
Surely it can't be our fault. And some people went, surely it is our fault. You know, the Great Flood. And I think of the influences that went into this world particularly, there's always a little bit of a weird element of taking real life inspirations of religions, which are these incredibly precious and culturally specific things, and being like, I'm going to turn them into a basis for Dungeons and Dragons world building. So that there's never an element where I want to like really try and break down these systems, their bare essentials. I'm really fascinated by all of like the different crossovers, but I love how much threes turn up in religion. That's something you can see all throughout the show. I did a whole photography project on it back in the day of my photography days on just the theological
the prevalence
of threes. And one of the big ones, 100% anyone who has any familiarity with Hinduism, the Trimurti, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, these three deities of the Hindu belief system, they are the creator, the preserver, and the destroyer. And when we look in our world at the child, the mother, and the widow, we see a very, very similar dynamic. I love that that belief system kind of separates life and living. Goes that like the preserver, things lasting, is a divine plane in of itself. Things being created, that's wonderful and that's divine. And there are many religions around the world that just maintain that kind of life and death divide. I love that little middle bit because there's a long middle bit where people are just getting by. I wanted to explore that and also make a version of the Trinity that's maybe not as harmonious as it should be. That the mother is very, very self-determined in her beliefs that nothing should ever change, which is not how life works. And you would think that a deity who can kind of see the tapestry of cosmic universality might be a little more willing to go, there's going to be a few twists and turns here, but it freaks her out. And I really liked the idea of taking that Trinity and making it not as harmonious as it should be. Also, the influence from Irish mythology with the Morrigan, the triple goddess, is this kind of very mysterious figure, and obviously all of our deities in the world are goddesses as well. The other big capital I influence alongside Hinduism has to be Norse mythology. This very primeval and nature-focused kind of form of theology and belief system. World trees, world serpents, worlds resetting. Tanamai is a post-Ragnarok world. This was one of the things that we kind of was my way of kind of pitching the show to the guys. I went, Ragnarok has happened, and this is the world that people talk about at the end of Ragnarok, where that little sapling springs up.
Yeah.
So there's even a little thing for me, kind of in a meta sense of like, Tanamai is a new world. It is coming at the end of the cycle. It is rising up out of the ashes of something else. There are many beings in Tanamai who believe this world to be like a cancerous tumor, who believe that it's just growing in the universe when it's not supposed to, because death won. Death was supposed to win.
Yeah.
But ironically, death winning and becoming a permanent thing is an act of preservation, and therefore the mother remains, and the cycle repeats. I love the idea that Tanamai is this very, very young world that is a part of an explicit cycle, is echoing, harmonizing, and rhyming with all of these past iterations of a world that has once been. I wonder how many world trees have existed in the many, perhaps millions of years that this cosmology has been going on. And how many times has there been a triumvirate? How many times has there been a trinity of leaders? How does that echo? How does that fall? How does that change in this new world? So that was a really, really big thing for me, and just bringing in all of these different elements to inspire what I wanted this world to become, because I hope one day that this becomes a story of figuring out how to harmonize with one another.
Yeah, I got you. There's another thing. You have a very solid 3 in the form of course, Billy, Elias, and Kit. Of course, symbolizing Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Well, you you joke.
I was about to say, is the tattoo on Mabel's skin possibly not her death, but the death of this world? Did I hit the nail on the head?
I wouldn't say you've hit a nail on the head. I would say you're getting dangerously close to reality shatters.
Oh, good. Good.
Salasuthero is a dark day. I don't fully know what's going to happen on Salasuthero. All I know is it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good, and this story has to end someday. So I look forward to Elias listening back to that and killing me.
Yes.
Killing me personally in real life.
Yes.
So that we never have to get to that point. Just quickly, do you mind if I just want to go back to a tiny little point about the Trinity that you pointed out with Billy, Elias, and Kit.
Yeah.
Mabel is a creator. Sibley preserves stories through music. Guaxos is a destroyer. Our Trinity goes down from the deities into the characters themselves and the themes that they're exploring.
Oh boy.
And they all slip into each other's roles occasionally. When Guaxos is not just a destroyer, he's a protector.
Yeah.
When he's doing that, is he not preserving the lives of his loved ones?
Yeah.
So there's all of this. We slide back and forth between them constantly. Sometimes Mabel is a destroyer. Like when she threatens to blow up a gala. A threat which, might I add, is not real because it was a defunct tessellation sphere. She's just claiming it's real.
Well, all
It's
I'm gonna
just
say,
theatre.
We're going to discuss the political ramifications of terrorism in a moment. But I want to go back to your theology thing. These little things that kind of just like make our human experience understood, kind of, as best we can. And we do that through gods and all that jazz. And then we're going to get into the politics and what that means. So going into kind of, we've gone through the theology. Now, Ted, it's time to get into the murky waters of your political influences.
This is the stuff that gets me in trouble with the producers. The producers that we don't have.
Well, no, I'm your producer now. This was in the contract.
You don't have money.
I have.
You might after this.
I might have to. I'll have this episode of the podcast is gonna send you into the stratosphere.
Yeah, dude. You'll
have my gorgeous voice.
Yeah, to the moon. Sorry.
That's where that candle on coin's going, baby.
Political influences. I really like storytelling. I'm a big fan of just storytelling.
Yeah.
And I think any story I ever try and tell has a habit of becoming tales about people who, against all of the growing darkness of the world, are motivated to try.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just want to try. Now, does it happen to be that growing darkness seems to always categorize itself as a never-ending hunger or greed or desire for more than you deserve? Did I once write a whole monologue about how I think a desire for power is the weakest and most pathetic trait that someone can have?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do think this show is political. I don't think it's like overly academic. I don't think people can come at this with a real fucking magnifying glass, because I think just the things that I care about are people against all odds trying. Of the people that have influenced this show, I cannot lampshade Ursula K. Le Guin enough.
Yes.
She is one of the great speakers who has ever lived, one of the great writers who has ever lived, and beyond just the works of the Wizard of Earthsea, which is a great seminal fantasy text, her sci-fi works, the Dispossessed, the Left Hand of Darkness.
Yeah.
These are powerful stories about imagining alternatives. Her short story, the Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas, you could write 100 political, philosophical theses on that like 6-page short story, and people have, and they keep coming up with new interpretations of it because she is that clever. She has had a phenomenal influence on me, both in the way that she talks about writing and in the way that she talks about the world. Somebody else who has had a huge influence on this show is a theorist and content creator, although he perhaps might not like the term content creator, so I will say an artist, because he's very impeccably good at writing and communicating. Is Andrew Sage. He is a YouTuber who goes by the name Andrewism, and he discusses all sorts of things adjacent to eco-anarchism, the solar punk movement, Pan-Africanism. He's a Trinidad-based writer, and I cannot recommend his channel enough. There are many, many elements of this show that owe a lot to him. It is difficult to point them out, because sometimes you have influences that seep so deep into the DNA of something, as is the nature of telling any story within a genre that has been around for, let's say, thousands of years.
Just a couple.
Maybe
a few.
Just a couple. It gets around. It's hard to separate yourself from your influences, and I find that these two people are people who impassion me to really try, and it's so hard to imagine a better world. And I wanted to write with Tanamai a world where the tenets of greed and unchecked progress and desire for more than you deserve are a new horror. You say that, the city of Udamas is this kind of capitalist city, and you're right, it's on the kind of the burgeoning of industrialization. At the same time, it still has a lot of its kind of older anarchistic ways. There is no homelessness in the city of diamonds. The stacks on the outskirts of the city, as sort of stacked high as they may be, and also overridden with cats, they are places designed so that everyone can live, so that everyone can have a place.
You also have, might I mention, a organization that, from what I understand, is almost exclusively based on investigating parts of maybe corruption and like investigating general like breaking of social not breaking of social social laws and literal laws.
Yeah.
Like their whole thing was like, there's some weird corrupt shit and some awful fucking power shit going on.
I was going to say both
I mean,
the inquiry itself is not immune to corruption. There, we will potentially see more of that as the story goes on. But then even at the same time, the inquiry inspires Eka's inquiry, the Saladorn inquiry.
Exactly.
And there's a real sort of like, there's a rolling on of people want to do good in this world. And I think with making Tanamai such a new setting where the norm is there's enough to go around for everybody, I think I wanted to turn back the clock a little bit on the desensitization that we have to greed and unchecked progress. I just wanted to turn that back a little bit and go, you're in a world where this is not the norm. Fergus Candelon is described in the Gala by Nadia Nadal as, he is the knight of a new sin I hear they are calling greed, which is obviously foreshadowing for his association with Glass, who is this kind of this hungry man from Karavu. And I wanted to write a world where evil and horrors are still rearing their head, because we are never going to eliminate conflict. And I think the desire for utopia so often kind of breaks in people's heads when they think, but what's anything without, like, you cannot erase conflict, that's impossible. And I think this world and this setting is just somewhere that on a majority level interacts with that as a concept differently. And we're starting to see the kind of unfortunate moving of this world into things that are a little bit more familiar to us on the outside. And for all of the characters within it, it's scary. So I wanted to kind of tell a story that takes regular weirdos and it turns them into people who might be spurred to make change. I don't want to believe that the world needs more heroes. What I want to believe is that in everybody, everyday heroism has found its way, kind of fallen under lock and key. That it's scary to kind of let it rear its head against the terrible darkness of the world right now. As millions have said so before us or have felt before us, the world is freewheeling towards kinds of evil that it feels like are unprecedented, but
very
precedented and are actually rhyming with everything that has ever come before in the history of mankind. It's just that now it's not being done by people, it's being done by AI algorithms and people. Everything is moving in a way that feels scary, and I wanted to tell a story that maybe just reminds people have felt this scared before. People will feel this scared in the future. All we can hope is that the people who feel scared about this in the future, or the amount of times this occurs in the future, is less than it is today. And I want to tell a story where, as intimidating as it is, kindness, passion, laughter, trying, are not futile things. They're breaths that we've all been struggling to take. We've all kind of lost our oh no, I need to be breathing in these things, but there's a fucking brick that is being pushed down on my chest by a donkey that calls himself king. And I can't remember how to breathe this.
It reminds me of the writing of Robert A. Caro.
I'm not familiar.
Incredible writer. Did a lot of expose pieces on corrupt individuals and corrupt systems, especially an incredible book called The Power Broker, which studies the rise and fall of Robert Moses. You're aware. We know Robert Moses very well. We do. Friend of the podcast, Robert Moses.
Part of the concrete sea, baby.
Hell yeah. But he has this very specific doctrine and philosophy, which is that power does not corrupt. We are taught that power corrupts, but what power does more often is reveal. And I think when you're talking about our three protagonists, our three heroes, taking the power that was given to them and using it for good, revealing who they are. Because largely we do, especially with Mabel, we're getting more bits of her revealing herself and who she is. And we get with Sibley this learning of magic, and thus they are able to learn the tools to best help them and others. And Guaxos obviously literally exists to protect. You have a great revealing of, yes, power can corrupt, but you also have this lovely thing of power can imbue people to be better.
And it's worth mentioning as well that like our protagonists are not infallible, because no one in the world today who is trying to make a change is not doing that against some deep internal desire to stay home and scroll TikTok. Everyone who has a desire to change is fighting against their little inner demon that goes, isn't this so exhausting? I just want to go home. And for me, I think, you know, when you look at these three characters, the things that hold them back, Sibley's cowardice, Guaxos's indecision, and Mabel's, I think, judgment. Mabel's
also judges sometimes literal desire to go home and take a nap.
I was going to say, Mabel has a very sort of outward sloth. Of like, I do just want to get out of here. But also, as we'll see like a little bit more in season 2, Mabel is not immune to the corruption of a desire to build and a desire to create. Mabel chooses to go and work for the Candelon Company. She works there perhaps a lot longer than she should, knowing that everyone is working down there with these dangerous tessellation spheres. She truly does believe in the Tomorrow Project until the Tomorrow Project fails her. And I wanted, and here's the thing, no amount of like wanting from me as a DM for these to become traits of the story could have actually influenced the incredible way that the players have consistently done these characters. All of these internal flaws are entirely at the behest of the players who, like, Kit literally decided, I want Sibley to fall asleep on every nat 1. That's an insane decision to make about your character. To go like, Sibley's got narcolepsy, and I'm like, that's hilarious because obviously Kit, the player, has insomnia. That's a fun. Is this your fantasy? Your fantasy is to fall asleep at any time. But also for that to kind of become a metaphor for this like deep-seated cowardice within Sibley that as soon as danger rears its head is almost always when they hit a nat 1. That just keeps happening in this very kind of poetic way. I think about that scene with Maybe Detective and Clarence McElmind, which might be the funniest thing that's ever happened.
Oh, hilarious.
Like,
absolutely.
We go from such a high to immediate nat 1, and we all knew it was going to happen. Like, we could feel the energy in the room. Whatever Dice God are our closest collaborators in this show, because obviously in D&D you collaborate with a bunch of storytellers, but your biggest collaborators are a non-sentient and spiteful deity that are saying to you, any story you wish to tell with us will become a story about fate. And in that moment, we just knew that the fate of Maybe Detective was, they ain't making it out of this alive.
They ain't going fucking nowhere.
No, I was like, Maybe Detective does not last longer than this scene, because if he does, he derails the tone of the entire show. But all of them have great moments of heroism throughout this first season where they make moves against their own flaws to try and protect people or protect themselves. And that's just going to keep continuing as the show goes on, because the journey to being a better person is, as I said, I hope earlier, that, you know, heroes are not something we need more of. We just need more everyday heroism.
Yeah.
It is an everyday challenge.
Yeah.
And sometimes you slip and you fall back a few paces.
Yeah.
But these are characters that will always stay kind, will always stay passionate, will always stay laughing, and will always try. And
you know what? You just went straight into DM voice. You do that every once in a while.
I do.
But that's lovely. And I completely see where you're coming from. Oh my God, that next season. Ladies and gentlemen.
It's great.
There he goes.
I know I should be humble because it's our own show. Guys, it's crazy. There was an electricity when we were worried that the first season was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
And we were like, fuck, I mean, what if we can't recreate the energy of that finale? And then every episode in season 2, the players were like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We've gone from like lightning in a bottle to lightning in a fucking...
Lightning got out the bottle.
Yeah, lightning in like a... What are those... This is a crazy reference. What are those domes that motorbikes go around in America?
Motor derby?
Motor domes. The name is evading me. These absolute fucking death balls.
Its existence evaded me for a very long time until you just reminded me. Yeah.
That was what we kind of found ourselves in, and the lightning was going around like crazy. And I am very, very excited for you guys to get to hear the next arc, because we go even deeper with the themes. We get to spend more time in Udamas with Mabel and Guaxos, but also to explore a whole new location, the desert Karavu with possibly Mortimer and Journeyman Lamb.
Oh, I love Journeyman Lamb.
Yeah.
Genuinely favourite character.
Damn. And he's only had one scene.
Only had one scene. Well, he's everything I love. He's a cowboy.
Yeah.
He's a cowboy. He's got a crow mask.
Yep.
He's an orthodontist.
Yeah, this is... We haven't said this in the show, and we never will, but we can say it here. He's an orthodontist.
He's an orthodontist.
Yeah.
Why would he need the lenses if he was an orthodontist?
Do you mean an optometrist?
Oh, fuck. He's an optometrist.
Or an optician. I've never
He's
known
an
the
optician.
difference.
But no, he's also he's an orthodontist as well.
Yeah.
He gives the vibe that he could just like... He got a crown.
I was going to say, Plague Doctors kind of had to cover everything.
Oh, yeah.
Sibley is the first... Valeria was the first living person he has ever met.
I was about to say, is Valeria dead?
No. Valeria Pfeiffer is not dead. Can you imagine that after a whole season of building up to... I mean, we did do a whole season of building up to Sibley finding them, and then Sibley loses Valeria again.
Yeah.
On a very unfortunate luck roll that... I'd like to reveal now, because this shows you fuckers how twisted my mind is. That luck roll in that scene seemed quite high. Sibley gets a 14, and yet Valeria is lost. And listening back to it, it does sound quite unfair.
Yeah.
And it sounds really unfair.
When I was listening to it, I was just
like that's unfair. That's a little bit fucked up.
Yeah.
I would like to tell you now that the scaling of the luck rates there were determined by survivability. Sibley's chance of staying alive, had they remained with Valeria Pfeiffer, was in the unlucky category.
Oh,
10 and below is a misfortune. And Sibley gets to stay with Valeria. And the two of them are put through absolute hell.
Oh my God.
11 and above, Sibley finds the guide, Journeyman Lamb, and their survivability chances go up a little bit.
That's good.
So,
Jesus Christ.
If you guys thought that was a twisted role, no, behind the scenes, it's even more twisted. Because I was hoping in that moment that Sibley was going to get unlucky. But unfortunately, Sibley got lucky.
That's what we in the biz like to call Ted Collins. Good Lord.
Sometimes I'm a fucking asshole with a role, and I make you think that I make you think that the lucky thing is getting exactly what's in front of you.
Yeah.
And then I go, actually the lucky thing is that you guys got separated long enough that Sibley didn't encounter some of the shit that Valeria is going to run into, that frankly Valeria is much better at handling on her own than if dare I say useless Sibley is there with her distracting some of her capabilities.
Those who travel fastest.
Yeah.
Those who travel fastest travel alone.
Yes. Yeah. Valeria's survivability rates also went up as soon as Sibley was out of the equation.
Yeah. Right. I'd like to talk about your influences for this season. So we're talking bits of media. If you you want to talk about stuff you love. There's influences show. Are there any specific things?
Specific things? I'm a lover of fantasy. I love fantasy. I've lived and breathed fantasy since I was a kid. I have read fantasy books that I can barely remember the fucking name of, but I know that there were dragons and I know that I was hyped.
Hell yeah.
I really, really adore this genre. So its DNA is always kind of walking alongside me. So once again, the works of Ursula K. Le Guin.
I was about to say we mentioned it, yeah.
I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones, and though that doesn't come into this show tonally, like, at all.
But how much of an asshole you are really does.
Yes, yeah. How much of an asshole I am as a presenter of this show for my incredible 3 writers in front of me.
Yes.
That does come into play, but also just George R. R. Martin's essence of like the only stories worth telling a human heart in conflict with itself, which is not his quote. It's someone else's quote that's evading me. I think it might be George Bernard Shaw.
Yeah.
Fact check me, internet. Get in the comments if I'm wrong. Interact with this. So lots of fantasy media kind of walks in lockstep with this. I read the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin before this, which is an amazing book. Some of the works of Becky Chambers, Monk and Robot, the Long Way to a Small Angry Planet.
Incredible.
And there's lots and lots of things. Arcane, obviously. One, a big recent one.
Aesthetically, that is what I think of.
Yeah. Over the Garden Wall.
Over the Garden, yeah.
Over the Garden Wall's in there, that sort of whimsical tone. I grew up on Adventure Time.
Yes.
So like things like the Pilmagins, that is super Adventure Time. It's
very Cartoon Network.
So kind of surreal and absurd. But if I had to really, really look at one thing kind of outside of the realms of fantasy, I'm a really big fan of heartfelt family dramas.
Yeah.
I am a huge fan of this show called This Is Us,
Yes.
which is basically like a heightened soap opera. Imagine Shameless, but nothing happens.
I would like to
and
say
it's one of the
so
best
good.
written shows on
Yeah.
TV. It's
so
beautiful.
good. Yeah.
And it's also a show about a family a family of 3 who are torn apart by the premature death of their father and the ways that it kind of continues to affect them today. I love family shows, and I always, if there is any subgenre that Tales of Tanamai falls into as a show, you can call it comedy fantasy, you can call it whimsical fantasy. I want to call it family fantasy because I think this is a show that is very much so, even as it gets to its most kind of political and philosophical. It's about the Mortimers figuring their shit out.
Yeah, fundamentally.
It's about fundamentally. And also this is kind of a fun thing. Some of those influences I may have named, you might be going, oh, I haven't really felt that kind of tonally so far. I want to lampshade some hype shit for future seasons of the show. Going a little bit back to talking about Rahman Sara as well. Every nation of Tanamai is designed to be a different subgenre of fantasy.
Interesting.
Provincial Nim is the Shire.
Yeah.
It's cozy fantasy. It's like
kind of a little bit of Narnia energy.
a little bit of Narnia. It's very, very cozy. There's still conflicts. There's still things to work out. But it is there to invoke a feeling of happiness and joy.
Yeah.
Rahman Sara, that gets into like Legend of Korra territory. There's like a little bit like steampunk or arcanopunk, I suppose.
Yeah.
The idea of technology and magic merging. It gets like that gets into a very kind of exciting territory for me. When we go to Ashling, we're getting into some real high fantasy folk horror shit. The tonal difference of Aisling as a setting is really, really fun to me because our three protagonists are quite silly.
Yes.
And like they're getting into a place that truly does have like Arthurian sword prophecies and giants that are mountains and monoliths that are frozen in the sky because they will one day crash into the earth, and slow storms that are raining and hailing in slow motion that look like fog from afar, but as soon as you walk into them, you may find yourself either drenched or shredded to ribbons by
Lord.
never-ending hail.
Oh my God.
It is intense out there in Aisling. It is very
sounds
folkloric.
amazing.
But then when we look at a place like Morvith, that is real like fantasy horror. That is so over the garden wall. It is a location under permanent nighttime and darkness. That's our fucking Halloween season. There's men with pumpkin heads and there's like blood-soaked antlered women out there in the marshlands.
Oh my God.
And everyone sounds like Journeyman Lamb and Eka Suriati and Clemency Fernwell.
It's got to be said. When we get there, I hope Mabel tries to flirt with one of the antler women.
One of the antlered women?
Yeah.
We may well see that. Elias is insatiable.
Yes.
And then the constellations, which are a location that hasn't been mentioned much in the show, but is where the frame story takes place. Lorenzo and Misty at this tavern called the Iron Jackal are on one of the many kind of archipelagos islands of the constellations, which is our pirate fantasy. The constellations are a swashbuckling joy, and we've joked a lot behind the scenes about how like we're gonna go from two really horrifying settings where they're fighting these kind of primeval creatures to you guys are in a tavern brawl.
Yeah.
We're sort of doing inverse D&D where in the prologue we started with, okay, you're fighting God.
Yes.
And we're slowly working our way up in this show to a meeting at a tavern.
Yes. You're going to slowly work your way up to what I always do when I introduce people to D&D, but a dog that talks in a tavern.
Yeah. And like rats in the basement.
Yes.
So yeah, we're building
punch up with one guy.
We're building our way up to this. No, the stakes of this show do not increase.
No, they go steadily down.
They steadily
In a linear fashion.
steadily decrease, but hopefully the personal stakes get even higher.
I think they will.
So lots of exciting stuff to think about in the future.
Because we've had discussion about. We've had a discussion before about the way you handle stakes, and I've described it before. I think you agree with me. It's that you're not jumping the shark if there's too many sharks to jump.
Yes, yeah, and also like sometimes the shark is in a trench coat and you befriend him and he joins the party,
and then you still jump over him because you both agree it'd be fun.
Yeah, the Pilmagins are like. The Pilmagins to me felt like we hit sort of Riverdale season 7 in the middle of season 1, where we were like, if we embrace the crazy, people will understand that this is a part of the show's DNA. Yes. We have to embrace the crazy. We have to embrace the Pratchettian and the Douglas Adams of it all, because I myself am a big fan of absurdism, and that weaves its way into this world massively.
There is a part of your core cast that feels so Terry Pratchett.
Yeah,
you have a goat person, a normal human, and a robot.
Which is crazy because I have never grown up reading Terry Pratchett. Yeah. I've never read a Terry Pratchett book. I grew up on a little bit of Douglas Adams. Likewise, as far as I'm aware, I don't think the main cast did either. I think we just like this kind of whimsical fancy, and it's lovely to know that there are other people out there in the history of this genre that have gone, fantasy should be fun and also make you really sad about truths of the universe.
Yes, but also be extremely funny while you do so. Which
we hope.
Don't worry, audience. I'm going to give him a copy of Colour of Magic. He will have to read it. Right, going on to another question.
Yeah, we went down a lovely tangent.
We did. It was an absolutely gorgeous tangent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So we're going to talk about a couple. You could call these softball questions. Well, I'm going to ask, what was your favorite NPC to play?
Oh, that is a good question. Because it's a different answer to what is my favorite NPC.
Yes.
Because obviously my favorite NPC is Brian.
Yes.
Because I'm not crazy. And Brian was an absolute delight to discover. I have said this to the players, and they think I'm insane every time I say it. Brian is like a little holiday for my brain.
Yes.
As is going into season 2, bringing in Juliet and some of the other Pilmagin characters.
I'm very excited to see where Juliet goes. Yeah.
I have never written a Pilmagin plotline. I have never sat down and gone, here's what the Pilmagins are going to do. I will write a note and I'll be like, Brian says something. Because he is an absolute vacation for my brain to black out and go crazy. So I can't even say that Brian is the most fun NPC to play or the one that I enjoy playing the most because I don't remember playing him. My eyes roll into the back of my head and I'm possessed by like a New Zealand rodent.
Yeah. You quickly get Kiwi and then you just...
Who like eats magic and throws it back up as a... Like, I didn't know that was going to be how Mabel got out of dying.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That was crazy that all lined up in the way that it did. The Pilmagins are in... I think a universe of their own, they speak to me in my nightmares.
I do genuinely, but when you created them, it was very much a spur of the moment. You had an episode to record the next day. You were in my house, and you came up to me whilst I was in the kitchen, whilst I was cooking, and you were just like, "Oh God, these guys."
Yeah, I think I just started doing the voice at you, and I was like,
Yes,
do you think this would be funny for the show?
And I was like, yes.
And it was literally the night before. The episode originally had an entirely different plot, and then I went, Mabel has to get in the vents and has to meet these Pilmagins.
I think your mind probably went, has to get in the vents. How do I make vents fun?
How do I make vents fun? And I think we just needed a moment of joy. Like when we first started,
it's been very intense.
I was going to say when we first started this show, I sat down with everyone and I asked them all what is the fantasy genre to them. So some of them named things that were not within the fantasy genre. Kit named like Lovecraftian works and Eldritch horror and even like Sherlock Holmes, you know.
Yeah.
Or I asked everyone like, what is the fantasy genre to you? What are things that feel adventurous? And genuinely, which I thought was a great answer, one of Billy's things was Pokemon. Billy was like, I want little unexplainable guys in the world.
Yeah.
And the Pilmagins were honoring that.
Speaking of deities.
Whoa. That's a curveball.
I was about to say Raikou, Entei, and Suicune.
Another trinity.
Another trinity.
So many trinities.
Of dogs.
Of dogs. In terms of the character that I personally enjoy playing the most, because she just means a lot to me. And I find an ease of playing her because of the emotional stakes of that character and also the way she kind of changes the scene anytime she's in it. I love playing Clemency Fernwell or Clemency Jane Mortimer, depending on who you would ask. She is a real favourite of mine, even more so throughout season 2, because the heartbreak of playing someone who potentially should know who these people are that she is talking to, but of her own volition has taken away a part of her that made her who she was and has walked away as someone new. She no longer has her Ashling accent. She has forgotten what that sounds like. She has a Moravithian accent from doing this sort of severance procedure over in Morvith, and it's sad to me. And it's also a beautiful parallel to me of Ellie. Ellie no longer has her Ashling accent. She grew up and she left, and she took on a Nimish accent purposefully to sort of raise less questions. It was almost a little bit of espionage in Ellie's decision to kind of separate herself from her Ashling accent.
Yeah, which it must be said, Ellie. I'm going to talk about my favorite characters. Ellie is my favorite character.
Yeah,
genuinely.
Yeah,
absolutely adore her.
Yeah, Ellie is a joy and a joy to play. I think all of the Mortimer sisters, I look forward to eventually playing Marshannon one day. But Clemency and Ellie, they have so much like emotional texture in my mind, and I feel a real ease when I start playing them. So Clemency Fernwell is probably my favourite to play.
Yeah.
Once again, a little tease of season 2.
Oh.
Because my other answer to that, we have only seen one scene of, but Journeyman Lamb.
Journeyman Lamb.
Oh boy.
So sick.
A real joy to play. For some reason...
Hold on. I said Journeyman Lamb was my favourite earlier. When I think of the greatest characters of fiction, Journeyman Lamb. But when I think of my favourite character in the series, it's Ellie.
It's Ellie.
It's kind of like my thing. My favorite song of all time is a Queen song. Queen is far from my favorite band.
Yeah. You know, Ellie's she's a beautiful character to me, and she's another one that does just kind of. I don't often write what she's going to say because Ellie is every person I've ever met who has shown unconditional warmth and kindness. Ellie is my mother. Ellie is the greatest teachers I've ever had in my life. Ellie is a level of gentleness that I hope I can bring to my own life. And her and Aravin mean a lot to me as these kind of quintessential fantasy parents. You know, if Aravin is the sword, is Ellie the shield?
Yeah.
You know, she's a very protective character, and I look forward to seeing more of that develop as it goes on, maybe even into a slightly more literal sense, with some of these strange curses going on with Mar Shannon and all of this kind of witchy background of those guys. Yeah, I really like playing the southern characters. Clemency Fernwell, just her voice is so soft, and I don't have to drink much water after I do it.
Yes.
In comparison, Journeyman Lamb, I have to drink a little bit of water. And if we're talking about people who I have to drink the most water afterwards, it's Eka Suriani, who is another sort of, not quite southern, but definitely American. So I do have a trend.
Eka is also a favorite.
I do have a trend with the ones that I really like playing, and for some reason they're all bad Southern American accents. So just you guys wait for the Morvith arc, because there's going to be even more of that.
Southern Americans, we're going to go back to politics. Right, okay, and it's probably going to be a more difficult softball. Also, have you ever held a baseball before?
No.
Hard. Like proper. There's a rock.
Not a softball.
Not a softball.
Damn.
But this one is. Hopefully.
And that's what we call the segue.
That is what we call a segue. What was your favorite moment of season 1 of this season?
Oh, that is hard. I can't answer that. That feels like picking a favorite child, especially because all of my favorite moments are obviously tied to these beautiful collaborators that I have in front of me that every now and then spin spools of story that I go home thinking about, and I'm just overjoyed that I get to work with these people who constantly tell me moving narratives.
Yeah.
And I think in our show the barrier between DM and player is a little bit thinner than it sometimes is in D&D. Like, you know, I asked Kit in the beginning of season 1 to DM their own dream scene. It was a total shock to me when Kit was doing that in second person, saying like, you do this, that the dream was directed at Mabel. I had no idea Kit was going to do that. I thought that the U was just a really interesting artistic choice.
Yeah.
That, and I had no idea that Kit was going to foreshadow the desert Karavu, because I let Kit go off and write the dream of their own volition.
Good lord.
So the fact that Kit foreshadowed this like boat of wispy figures and a desert, and that we have Karavu out there, which is currently hosting the God of the Dead.
Yes.
Was I felt like divinity was in the room. All of a sudden I was like, okay, this is insane. How on earth has that happened?
Yeah.
Guys, of the things in this show that I can say to you openly, yeah, we edit to make ourselves look a little bit better. Sometimes we have to cut out continuity errors. I got what year Petra and Valeria were in at Saladorn wrong so many times, and I had to cut a version of the show where it was consistent. This show has a layer of magic trick to make it look as nice and polished as it does.
Yep.
That being said, this is still an entirely improvised show.
Yes.
We do not write anything beforehand other than like a couple of monologue-y scenes, but even then, those are mostly improvised.
Yeah. Because Elias in the next season, doesn't he have a really good monologue?
Elias,
It's just notes.
Elias has an incredible monologue that I thought he had written out entirely, and I found out afterwards it was just bullet points.
But I think also you're frequently dealing with Kit Oliver who
is a mystery writer
is
in their own regard.
Is a mystery writer and someone who can predict your twists
with infuriating accuracy. The fact that they put that, like, it aggravates me because it makes my job of arguing that our show is not scripted so much harder.
Yes.
When you've got a player going, hey, if you don't mind, I'm going to foreshadow the crazy desert at the end with Journeyman. I'm even going to foreshadow Journeyman Lamb, who nobody knew existed other than in name.
Yeah.
But they certainly did not know that there was another deity in this trinity: the mother, the widow, the child, and the journeyman. They had no idea that that was what was coming. And still, Kit was like, wispy figures on a boat. Spirits. These are ghosts. These are ghost babies. And Aravin's body is getting dropped in linen into sand.
Yeah.
And I was like, well... They're
Well, fuck.
Well, fuck.
Well,
Well,
fuck.
fuck. But what a wonderful thing to get
Yes.
to experience, and also what a great tool for me as a DM. And this is what I mean when I say our barrier between DM and player is so thin, and I'm so glad of that. So yeah, there's beautiful moments that are entirely defined by the players. So as I have been rambling, I have been thinking about. I think a moment for each character. For Sibley, it has to be that entire sequence from the glass wall up until Lizzie Kettle of the Crumpets performing the Ballad of Silver and Fair.
God.
That first meeting with Valeria Pfeiffer, sat up against the glass wall, that entire sequence, getting to play Valeria for the second time in the show, but for the first time within this timeline, for the first time not in a flashback.
Yeah.
So rewarding. Like, I felt a real swelling of joy in that scene, and I think you can hear it in my voice because it's quite a funny scene.
Yes.
In such a dark moment, and that was beautiful to me because Kit navigated that wonderfully. Kit came up with this great idea that playing the ballad was something that was entering glass, which was a cold shot that they called without much evidence. That I didn't do a good enough job as a DM of showing that as evidence within the world. It was meant to be. The players just didn't pick up on like didn't go to the areas where that information would have been accessible. And also Kit rolled a nat 20 to learn the ballad extremely early on. So you can see how some of the structure of the season gets disrupted, and little clues are lost.
Yeah.
And yet still Kit was like, I think the ballad controls glass, and they were fucking right. And I was like, that's insane. Because I was really worried that you guys wouldn't know how to defeat him because we didn't get to that explanation. And then Kit cold turkeys because Sibley is as good of a detective as Kit Oliver is. So that entire sequence, Sibley getting to level up and it being such like a beautiful and tender leveling up as opposed to the very kind of heroic and bombastic Mabel and Gwerksos levels.
Yeah.
That really touched me as a scene. Same in the finale, Gwerksos' speech to Glass, which to peer behind the curtain here, Billy did not remember doing.
Yes, I remember this.
Billy had no idea that he had delivered this kind of intense monologue to Glass where he reads him for shit.
Yes, and it's just like Billy, Gwerksos is doing some crazy shit, and Billy's just entered a fugue state.
Yeah, that was a huge moment for me because me and Billy have talked a lot about how the heroism of Gwerksos' rage should never become what he looks like with a sword when he is angry.
Yes.
It's what he looks like without it.
Yes.
And in that moment, Gwerksos is in a rage.
Yeah.
Not mechanically. We see this great... there's a great detail that Billy has worked in where Gwerksos barely speaks whenever he's in a rage. That has become a really kind of consistent and fascinating character trait. So for me, that speech, that moment of... It's not even rage, it's just impassioned. And I think barbarians, depending on how you take them, can be such a beautiful character archetype because they are people who are spurred to workings of great heroism by strong emotion.
Yeah.
And that when you break it down, it's as simple as that. So that scene with Glass.
I've never considered barbarians like that. That's very good interpretation.
I am a huge fan of barbarians. I think they are underexplored in their depth. And
Yeah.
I'm very, very fond of them. As
You can only have so many himbos.
I was going to say, you can only have so many himbos with a sword. Sometimes you do have to examine the morality of murder.
Yeah.
and
Way to bring us down.
I know, but
Gosh.
Guaxos is such a heroic character to me, not because of that sword, but because of the things he says in that moment. That being said, that speech of glass is tied with Guaxos' first interaction with Kuakariki, where he sees the world tree through the wall.
Yes.
It's a very, very serene and beautiful scene. Billy played that beautifully. And getting to strip back a lot of that and just let that moment be music and sound design, that was really special in the editing room. That was a favourite moment of mine.
Yeah.
As for Mabel, dare I say the entire Soul Gauntlet? I mean, Elias was on top form that entire episode. I was moved to emotion so many times throughout that. There's a moment in the Soul Gauntlet where Clemency is trying to get through to Mabel. And Elias, and I'm sure this is intentional, but I haven't actually asked him. Maybe it was an unintentional thing. As the kind of realities are blending and merging and melding, and the difference between dream and what is real is becoming thinner and thinner, when Clemency talks to Mabel, Elias responds in Mabel's voice as a child for like a scene.
Yeah.
There's like a little bit where Mabel's going like, what? I don't understand what's going on. And is going back to that sort of posher voices of her as a kid that she picked up from Ellie.
Yeah.
And like a moment later kind of snaps out of it. It's like, oh, yeah, right. That moved me to emotion so much.
Yeah.
That I remember just having to take like a little pause and get my bearings and be like, that's one of like the most beautiful acting and writing decisions I've ever seen someone do in this game. And it was such a tiny moment.
There's a moment with Mabel. Specifically, I think it's episode either 5 or 6.
Yeah, one of the early ones.
Yeah, when she's back with Aravan in a memory, and it's a very small thing, but I do find it very interesting. Is this thing where I think we discussed it before, maybe in passing, and you didn't really have an answer for me then, but it's this thing where Aravan doesn't sound quite right.
Yeah.
The voice is wrong. And it sounds a little more posh.
Yes.
As opposed to more of his gruff kind of voice.
I heard you, didn't I?
Yeah. More like a very kind of gruff and controlled voice. And in my head, I had the instant interpretation that when you lose a parent so young, and you have to, when you go through your memories of them, and you're trying to remember the literal image of them or the voice of them, that can be difficult, especially for a child.
Yeah.
Especially when you haven't spent that much time with them. It's something where you could spend like 8 years with your parent, and then that time passes, and then you're like, well, 8 years wasn't long enough to understand them fully.
Mabel's been alive without Aravan longer than she's been alive with him.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, was that an intentional choice? That disassociation for who they literally were and the memory of them, and reconciling that.
It's difficult. The answer is 100% both.
Yes.
Yeah. That moment was not intentional. Sometimes things occur in an improvised story where you go, I played this character a long time ago, and the episode where the episodes where he was played have not been edited, and I can't go back and listen to the voice.
Yeah.
Voices drift. Sometimes they get, sometimes as well, they settle into a position where it's just like a little bit easier to do it for a longer time. Eka is in season 2 a lot more than he is in season 1.
Yes.
So his voice does change quite a bit.
Yeah.
Likewise, Journeyman Lamb, I only had to do him for one scene previously, and I have to do him for like as long as Sibley is in Karavu. So, the voices change and shift over time. And I do think I probably hadn't played Aravan in a while, and I think a little bit of that poshness did come out. That being said, I'm about to spin a fucking web about the nature of storytelling in an improvised medium.
You can do it.
That moment wasn't intentional.
Yes.
I'm not going to sit here and claim that I'm a genius who has thought everything out ahead of time, because I have not. I didn't even really know how old Valeria and Petra were for like a consistent part of this campaign. I cut out most of that to try and fix the show. Sorry, this is a very brief interlude. Kit, there are whole lines of investigation that Kit went down as Sibley to be like, people have told me different things about the ages. Is this like some weird time fuckery thing? I was like, no, I fucked up. And that line of investigation has had to be cut out from the final version of the show.
Yeah.
Anyway, that being said, in this show, when you're so closely following the winding river of a narrative, and you're really kind of devoting yourself as a group to exploring that story, I think there's something really beautiful in being able to look at moments that were total mistakes and go, maybe there is a beautiful interpretation of that. Maybe there is a version of that fits into the story. Which is, it's kind of just like reverse D&D, because D&D is already an act of looking at a dice roll and interpreting how that was always meant to be what happened. As I said earlier, every story ever told with dice becomes a story about fate. And I think there can be something quite beautiful in looking at a moment like that, which, total accident, voices drift. It was me having not played Aravan for a while. And yet at the same time, going... But actually, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Mabel has been alive without Aravan longer than she's been with him.
Yeah.
And she carries him with her every single day. And I think that the way that she carries Aravan as a hero, as a character, as a child within an adult that is trying hardest to get through life. She's looking at him through a cracked mirror. Through a misty pane of glass. That doesn't mean that her memory of him is any less sacred just because there are bits of it that are wrong. And I think for me, when I look at that moment where his voice does really sound quite different, the thing that I find kind of to be the most compelling interpretation of that scene is what aligns with Mabel's arc throughout the entire season, which is remembering that Aravan was not her only parent. Elitha Mortimer has been a hero to Mabel for longer than Aravan ever got a chance to. And I love the idea that maybe in that moment, Mabel heard her father speak with a little more of her mother's voice. And that as these things move through time, when we lose someone, it's very easy to feel like you have to live your entire life assigning a heightened and deific importance to that person. And that's a very, very beautiful thing. That's a very beautiful and personal process. And Mabel's going to continue to do that throughout her life. She loves Aravan. Aravan loved her. He was a hero. But I think one of Mabel's flaws as a character was in going through that grieving, I think struggled to see the ways that Ellie was and is and always will show up for her as a hero. And those two have a lot to work out as characters. But Ellie, Aravan was the sword. Ellie was the shield. Aravan died and she had to take up both. And I, for different reasons, you and I know what it's like to have that void.
Yes.
in our lives.
Yeah.
And I think Mabel is going to spend a long time figuring out that, similar to the disappearance of Kai Pariah,
Yeah.
some voids don't get filled.
Yeah.
It's just that other sources of light grow brighter and warmer, like a fireside in a village called Ember,
Yeah.
than you maybe ever experienced. And I think Mabel is in a place where she's letting that void seep into her relationships with her siblings, into her relationship with her mother,
Yeah.
as if feeling something that bright and warm is in any way disingenuous to Aravan.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah.
He would want her to feel as much warmth as she possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's got a long way before she feels like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Elias is a remarkable storyteller. And yeah, I think you've changed my mind. I think Ellie is my favourite character to play in this show.
There you go. That's my purpose. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Ellie's number one fan, that's me.
So in moments like that where something happens that isn't intentional, I'm never going to highlight it as intentional and go, we meant that all the time.
You're not George Lucas.
No. That being said, I would never call it an accident.
No. Because it has meaning.
I was going to say that the narrative flows through us in ways we cannot define. And I think sometimes, especially in an improvised medium, you got to do a little bit of extra heavy lifting and prop up old moments that maybe now you go, oh, okay, I actually don't know that I would write that moment knowing now what I know. But okay, then what's the narrative justification for that happening then?
Yeah.
What did that mean back then?
Yeah.
And can I let that influence what's happening now?
Yeah, I see that completely. I think it just when I was listening to it, and it kind of made me have that idea. I just reminded myself of a very odd period, because I have grown up with the majority. Like I've now fully spent a longer without my dad than I have with him. Yeah. So when I was a lot younger, when I was trying to think of the memories of him and who he was, that, he was suddenly younger, and he was suddenly, the
mirror cracks and distorts.
The mirror cracks and distorts. He was more angular. He was taller. And then I caught myself one night, and I was just like, that's literally not my dad.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to kind of have that thing of, I now know my mother so much as an adult, and I didn't know my father as an adult. And you do have that interesting thing, especially with Mabel. Mabel's one of my favorite characters, purely out of the fact that I relate heavily to that kind of experience. Both ginger, both incredibly handsome.
Yes, yeah.
So I relate to Horace, but and it is really interesting. And I thoroughly, when I had that thought, I was just like, I knew Ted probably messed up.
Yeah.
But also, oh my God, it's something I want to explore at some point, because that it bangs. It's real good. It's such an interesting thing to discuss.
I think we would all be better people if we paid a little more attention to the Elithers in our lives.
Yeah.
As people that are kind of quieter sources of joy, and who, I mean, the things that Ellie has faced. How strong is she? She's like, it's why I don't fuck with like power scaling discussions, because I would just sit there and go, yeah, Elitha Mortimer's is the strongest motherfucker in Tanamai.
Yeah,
and people
Ella beats Goku.
And people will be like, why? She makes children's toys. And I'd be like, yeah, against all odds.
Yeah.
Okay, against all odds she makes children's toys.
She beats Goku in the wheelchair.
Well, I think because she just shows Goku kindness. And
Yes.
she goes, "Why are we trying to fight?"
She's
Like,
she's
would you like some tea? We could go for a cup of tea.
She's gonna offer him tea or food, and he'll fold.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's love.
And she's not flawless. She's got her. We see the the fact that she sent Guac sauce to Udmas because she was getting so annoyed of living with him. That's
Yes,
hilarious.
that is.
She's got her own flaws. But
that is probably one of my another favorite moment of mine.
And just a little like just a very tiny little beautiful detail to Lampshade. I would like to tell everyone that the Soul Gauntlet, episode 14, titled Mabel, was filmed on Mother's Day.
Oh,
So there was a real intention to highlight Ellie because I love her. She's a character that I just want to see keep going throughout the course of the show, because we all need someone who slows down and goes, has everyone got their thinking caps on?
yes.
Because it seems like some of you have got your angry caps on, and I need you all to have your thinking caps. Because once we start thinking, we start making decisions that are good. Yes? Okay, everybody, think.
Yeah. It's big. Have you gone for a wee yet before we get in the car?
Yeah.
And we love
Yeah.
And we love
She's
that.
She's
Right.
prepared.
She is.
We're coming on to last question.
We're getting on to our last question because we're running out of time.
We are running out of time.
I think this is a very specific moment, which we discussed in the previous episode. I talked to Elias about having to deal with the various small men you seem to throw at him every single time. Our first in this series was Clyde. Was Clyde the cat?
Okay, so after this beautiful...
to set up, his landlady's cat. Sorry, her landlady's cat.
Yes, yeah. So after this beautiful discussion of grief, we're gonna talk about Clyde the... What is your question?
My question is, what happened? Because when they went back when Guaxos and it was Guaxos and Mabel, right?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
It was Guaxos and Sibley.
It was Guaxos and Sibley. When Guaxos and Sibley went back to Mabel's flat to get the coin.
Yes.
My first thought was, where the fuck is Clyde? Oh, he's got a pen.
Tolly, you've cracked this case wide open.
Oh my god.
Now, viewers at home, this is a crazy tone to end on.
Yes.
But I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I actually have an answer for this.
Oh god.
I know what has happened to Clyde the cat. Or should I say, I know what Clyde the cat has been doing to the world.
Oh god. Also, I feel like you're very much channeling what's his name? Tim Curry in Command and Conquer.
I know what's happened to to the world.
Yeah.
And spice. Oh my god. I know the whereabouts of Clyde the cat. And even after season 2, this is something that I have never revealed to the players. So not only are you, Tolly Johnson, getting a hot scoop, they are getting the hottest scoop when they eventually listen to this. Because I don't imagine that the opportunity will arise where people can discover this organically.
Well, I was going to make a 5-part comic book, but you can...
Yes, yeah, a 5-part comic book, that could work. I can't imagine a situation where this would arise organically, because there were opportunities for them to find it out in the show.
Yeah.
The roles were not made for it.
Yep.
Do you remember?
Oh, God.
In some of the discussions of the Pilmagin rivalries.
Yes.
There are mentions, of course, of the evil Vilmagins.
Yes.
To either the west or the east. It is evading my mind. Kit at some point fucks up in like the storage cupboard and goes, "Are you guys the Primlagins?" And Brian goes, "Nah, they're from the north." which is a delightful little bit of getting to turn Kit truly just forgetting the name of the species into another version of the species. So there's a tricorn war, a trifold, a tricorn war. There's a trifold war happening here.
Yes.
And Sibley asks Brian, "What about the South?" And Brian goes, "We don't talk about the South."
Oh yes.
That's because
Jesus Christ.
patrolling the vents and eating pilmagins
Oh, God.
with astonishing ferocity is an enormous, lazy, fat ginger cat named Clyde. In the southern territories of the Saladorn Conservatoire, Clyde the cat is the biggest villain that Pilmagins, Vilmagins, and Primlagins have ever known.
Good
And it is why,
Lord.
whenever anyone is asked about the South in the Pilmagin cultures, they go, we don't talk about the South.
Christ.
So what had happened to Clyde the cat? That's what happened to Clyde the cat.
I don't think that's what's happened. I think Clyde has happened.
I was going to say, Clyde has happened. This is what he's been doing. He is the mastermind of this entire narrative.
Question. When did he go to... Has he been doing the vent stuff for ages?
Oh, for like years.
Okay.
For years and years.
So whilst Mabel's
why else
kind
do you
of-
think he's so fat?
This is true. But then whilst Mabel's taking him off of the roof, all he can think of is, I want to eat some magical guys that eat magic.
100%. 100%.
Oh my God.
Clyde is perfectly capable of getting down on that roof in the same way he's perfectly capable. In the same way he's perfectly capable of traversing a complicated vent system.
Yes.
Clyde is a liar and a scoundrel and a fiend, and I will take no fans of him in this show because I think he is a true rapscallion.
Oh God. I'm out of a job.
So yeah, that's what's happened to Clyde.
Okay. Well, that's it. I mean, it's good. It's good that he's got a hobby.
It's good that he's got a hobby. Yeah.
he's
We
good.
all need one every now and then.
Yeah.
We've got to crawl the walls of a university and eat rodents.
That's what we're doing right now.
That's what we're doing after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, after we finish recording.
It's like the box ceilings that you can just kind of press the top of. We go in there occasionally and we just grab them.
Oh, man.
And this is a little bit, tiny bit. Before
Oh,
we go.
okay,
Tiny bit before we
okay.
go. And this is more just you could call this marketing, or you can call this my love of the game. What can we expect as an audience from the next season of the Barmy Balladeers Tales from Tanamai podcast?
I think you can expect a group of people who I knew when I brought them together would have such a compelling and profound chemistry in this ability to tell stories together. In the second season, you watch them realize that that's true.
Oh boy.
In the first season, we were figuring a lot out. And I think in the second season, all four of us were like, yeah, there's something here that works for us.
Definitely.
And the scenes are better, the characters are better, the dialogue is better, the fucking drama is better, the episodes are longer, so buckle up, and you may have to do it. You may have to listen to these episodes on a couple of commutes. But we go deeper into the world, we go deeper into the themes. There are more mysteries to uncover about Glass, about who he was, about what he was.
Yeah.
There is much more to uncover about the Saladorn Conservatoire. Mabel and Gwerxos this season have an incredibly intense arc. We see us kind of experimenting with the form a little bit more. There are some episodes and scenes that were filmed in isolation of each other.
Ooh.
There is an episode where, due to some scheduling things, Kit's entire plot of the episode was filmed one-on-one, me and Kit.
Good Lord.
We get more thematic, and on a note that excites me, we get so fucking hype. There is some crazy stuff in this.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
There is some crazy shit out there in that desert, baby. I'm so excited. I couldn't be prouder of the cast. I couldn't be prouder to be working with these people. And as we ramp up to the end of this, I just want to say thank you so much for taking on board both of these talkbacks.
Ted.
Wonderful interviewer over here, wonderful director, wonderful filmmaker, passable script writer.
Oh, I mean, that's the best compliment you've ever given me. So
yeah, it's the best one I've ever
take
given you. And a fellow podcast host of an anthology sci-fi podcast series, which currently only has one episode out, but we are going to force them to do some more. The episode is called The Link, if I remember correctly. Or is the show
series is called The Link.
The show is called The Link. Go and check it out. It's wonderful. So thank you very, very much, Samuel Ptolemy Johnson.
Thank you, Ted. And I would like to say thank you for listening. Thank you so much for Ted. Ted, thank you so much for being here and fielding my questions.
I was going to send my clone, but there was a scheduling conflict.
Also, that man costs it's strange that he has such a bigger career than you do.
Yeah, he costs more than I do by quite a mile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Ted, for being me. Thank you, Ted, for being here and fielding all my many, many, many questions. And we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Talkback of Tanamai. And if I might say, I hope you are all extremely excited for the next season. I know I am, and I am very excited to see where the story goes. And if I'm completely honest, I want to know if Journeyman Lamb shows up in our main reality and starts shooting shit. But all in all, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.
And dare I say, stay balmy.
Stay Balladeers.
Stay balmy, stay balladeers.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We'll do some like humorous music as we fade out on
Make ballads and be balmy.
Make ballads, not love.